Welcome back to the Spit Out. I'm Jefferson. Alongside me, as always, the one with all the holes in his game, Swiss Cheese, and this is Disc Golf World's podcast. Yep, I never know how to say it after that.
Did you say what it is?
Is it the Spit Out?
I thought you just said this is Disc Golf World's podcast.
No, I said that afterwards.
Oh,
We're
okay.
keeping this because it feels more natural than anything else that we can come up with.
It does feel, it's natural. This is not a bit.
No, it's happening.
Nice.
This week was considered an off one. However, Gothro had their third event of the year, the Masters, which was supposed to be the big invitational event. You had 32 of some of the best of the world playing for a $50,000 prize pool. I know that you didn't catch up too much on it yet, right? Because it comes out literally today.
That's it, yeah.
Because it feels like that's how everyone else talking about it. I haven't seen yet because it is like Monday, so we can't really talk about it like too in-depthly.
It is kind of weird about the post cover. So you don't want me to say AB1? Is that what you don't want me to do?
Because
everyone will put in the spoiler alert. And
Tuesday's fine. We're good.
Tuesday's covered.
I didn't say who won though in yesterday's video
yesterday's video?
because
smart.
I said, hey guys, go watch
Pussy.
it. Yeah.
Whatever.
I just didn't want to recap it
I get it.
because I didn't have time to watch it, then write it, then edit.
That's fair. That's fair. No, a huge event. From what we've heard and what we've gathered, it's not to what it was hyped to be. But as far as an inaugural event and doing some of the stuff that they have done with the red jackets and leaning into things, getting Germ on there, I think they made a legit effort on kind of making it unique, and I can certainly appreciate that.
It's hard for me to be like, what was that more part of it? Maybe it was still barren, so it wasn't like looking around. You're not like, whoa, this is some grand event. But also, it is the inaugural event. How could I hate on something that a lot of people didn't know? But maybe there could have been something done more so to get people there, to show that, like, yo, this is a spectacle, because that's what you want it to be.
As far as what Gothro's success is going to be, and as much as they're used to like the post coverage revenue streaming, but if you want the success of this tour, it's going to come from getting people butts in the seats and pros playing. Those are your two. You accomplish those two goals, I think the escalation of the tour itself is going to happen. So if that delivers, then it's going to happen. And I just, like, for me, like, maybe my expectations were high. Like, you're right. It's an inaugural event. It's an off week. It's this, it's that. I was just hoping for a little bit better turnout. And for a course like that caliber, it's like, dude, what do we need to happen to get the bodies there? I don't know if it's the location. I don't know if it's bad promotion or lack of promotion, but like, what will it take to have that place filled up? Because if done, I think it would definitely be, at the minimum, first time top 10 optics. Mm-hmm. I immediately think of like Fox Run comparison, where it's like open, you fill those up with people, and then you're like, wow, this is like an atmosphere. This has people here. You do something like that, I think it'll look special on that property. And that's why I want it to happen, because that property is sick enough to just be like, it needs it. Like,
you have enough people already in the comments saying this is one of the best courses in the world. They want to see this in a high caliber event. And it seems like this is the opportunity to like bring that thing there, where I don't know if they want to lean into going to like a dgpt route or doing something big on the pdga scene. I think they want to like keep their private, do whatever they want, throw money where they want, and make it a huge event on their own. And I feel like this is the start of something. I just don't know what is the also notch in making this a prestigious thing. Because I feel like you need something to attract the pros there at the end of the day too.
Who cares about prestige or viewing this on the level of anything? Let's just have a kick-ass tournament and have the highest payout.
Well, I think that already brings prestige.
Yeah, well, in a way, sure. I think like,
because you want the payout, man.
Yeah, the payout. I guess like if you view that as a prestige, like I just like, if I'm Gothro, I'm gonna try to just get as much dollars, and that will help get the pros there. That'll help get everything moving. It'll help get the buzz. And I think like they're just I think there's a little bit too reliant on like the community's buzz to kind of make this bigger, where it's like, And it's also the first year, so it's a lot of like dipping your toes. Do you want to go to this event? Is it worth the travel? What's there? So I get that, but like part of it's also you got to promote with attractions and what's going to be there. What's this? Like as much as like it's a go throw event and you're there to see the pros, what else are you there to see? And I think the tour at least tells you that, hey, we're gonna have vending there. We're gonna have our vending there. We're gonna have this
A fly mart.
yeah, fly mart food. There's aspects of that, and I know GoThro delivers on that, but I don't know if they do great jobs of showing video afterwards, and like their events are great. We've been to a number of them, and they're always a great vibe, always great crowds. But like, I don't know if it's like everybody's seeing it. Like we always talk about, like too many people are getting their news from one source. So if you're not like engaging that on all aspects, like it's gonna fall short. And that's what I'm just rooting for GoThro, and I think that's where I'm a little more judgy on it because I know what these guys put in. I know the work that they do, and it's like I know you wanted more, and I think it's there. It's just difficult to kind of get there, like with your first year, it being rushed.
I think something that they're doing super well right now, though, is the beginning portion of their video. Like the first, I want to say like 3 minutes of the rounds is some cinematic breakdown of like player interview, and they're really showcasing. They have a new members only series called like Into the Wind, Into the Trails, whatever, which it looks super dope. I think I'm going to join the members just to check it out because it feels like something we've been asking for, like to see is the behind the scenes of them. And I think that if they can showcase the hardships behind the scenes, maybe that tells the story of like, oh, this is like legit. This is like the grassroots people starting from something, trying to make a change. And if you get to see that side of the story, a lot more people will buy into it, I think.
Yeah.
Sucks that it's going to be behind a member thing. I hope that eventually it could roll out. But I think it does entice more people to support.
Even if it is behind a paywall, you can do enough like in shorts to kind of highlight it. You're right. And then another part of me feels like those will never be watched.
Like, yeah, it's sad to say like that.
Like, yeah, it kind of is. Like, I think
that's why it's good that they're doing a beginning portion of it in the video, because I was actually surprised that the round one got over 100K already on YouTube, and I was like, all right, so I think that the prestige enough of, hey, this is the Masters. Hey, we have Gannonberg, Calvin Heimberg, and then I think Ace Run had Anthony Barella, Austin Turner, and some other names that you're gonna know. It seems cool that way, and that's like the best part about it. It was really you have 8 spots to fill.
That's solid numbers though. 100K is solid numbers. That's their wheelhouse as far as a number. That up. You know what I mean? They're trying to get 100K per stop.
I think right now Jomez is maxing out on like the 200K to 250. I think was Supreme Flight was at peaked at the first event. So I think that's just you're getting a lot of that community that only sticks to the pro tour event. Because I think there's a lot of fans that are just watching that. Like they cap out at I'm going to watch Jomez every week. That's my disc golf consumption. Or I'm just going to watch live. It's trying to convert these people into, hey, this matters over here. Maybe check out other things that are breakdowns and trying to build all that sphere of content and get that.
And I think Eagles Crossing also helps with that views. I think there's people want to see pros play. That is another name where people want to see pros play on it. Precisely. So.
And I think that won overall on the weekend. I think that it won the test of the fans. I think I didn't see a single negative comment of this place is bad. Literally everything was we need more people to play this. I want to see like the top play. Like I even saw plenty of comments about Worlds here.
It's been tossed around before, and I hear the logistics of it is the difficulty. You know what I mean? As far as even getting a tour stop.
Well, yeah. Would you be mad if this got something up there in a tournament like a Worlds, like let's say a Champions Cup after never getting played in anything else there? Would that be something that upsets you at all?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Nice segue. Yeah, can we dive into it?
That's what I was trying to set up there. I know this is a topic that you want to talk about.
Yes, this is silly because this has now happened for the second time, and I don't think enough people have said it. This property has gotten 2 lockdown majors before having a single event on its property. That's insane. And I understand you got Paul Macbeth attached. I get that you got Foundation. It's in their backyard. You got a great community. You have a great base. It's a great locale. I get all of that. However, That is wild to me when there's been aspects thrown around as far as like back in the day, Silver Series were supposed to test this. This was supposed to happen. You're supposed to have a high enough tournament or a large enough tournament to show that you've been there. And it's just like, how does that happen? Like, how does that occur? Why is that allowed?
Yeah, there were measures put into place that you're supposed to be able to
Yes.
showcase to get on. Is what
Absolutely.
you're saying, right?
And then when you also, this is another bit of it, and I'm not saying this was part of the process, but when you have the TD that is attached to this, that also greatly has me start questioning, why does this happen now twice at the same property? That is what I'm tired of. You can't present yourself as a governing function, and man, and they're going to probably say they're not governing, even though they do discs and this and this. But if you're going to present yourself as a governing body of our sport to allow a major without having an event at, Eagles Crossing would probably be better because at least they've done this. At least it's an invitational where they had X number of pros there. Granted, they didn't have an FPO there, so that I would kind of still be a little bit upset about it, but like,
they had something.
yeah, this property's not even finished. It's not even, like, can we be real? It's not even finished. It's not done. It's in production. And I get the names that are attached, and I get what the previous course was and all of that. But like, why? If this course wasn't worth fighting for when they were taking it away, why is it getting a major? Can we be real? Like, that course was not, there was no fight put up to keep that course whatsoever by the community, right? If that was not good enough to fight for, why is it good enough to have a major without a tournament at it? That's silly.
Are you confident that it's going to hold up to what it was? Is there any worry about that? Do you think that's going to be able to cater to a major? That it's still going to be up to the level that it needs to be
It
at?
depends where Heinold puts his hill. Do I think that it'll be great? Yes. Do I think it will be fine? Yes. Do I think that it will deliver? Most likely, yes. You can't have these people attached and not have aspects of greatness when it compares to all the other stops, right? They know how to run an event. They know how to get there. You already have stuff established with Sunset Hill. You already have half of that taken care of. It's about getting this other half lined up. So yes, like,
do you think this is going to be played at both courses?
Yes, I do.
Interesting. I didn't read that or not, but
Why not? You got both of them lined up.
well, because isn't the championship's going to be played there?
So isn't the championship played? No, it's only played at one event.
I think it's just at Ivy.
Okay.
So that, yeah, I think they're going to just keep this as quote unquote wooded major. We're bringing that back, even though we're going to Swenson this year. I think that's still the vibe we're going to go after.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's either. I get your argument. I understand your argument. I get what you're saying.
Well, going back though to awarding this a major after what you just talked about, where do you put the
I'm gonna
blame?
get so hated on by like the Macbethers, by the way.
Well, yeah, Macbeth's gonna hate you too. But where do you put the blame on then? Is this a DGPT thing or just a PDGA thing? Because wouldn't they be the one?
It would be
granting
PDGA because it's their major. Right?
That's what I believe.
It's all PDGA. I'm not DGPT. I'm sure definitely is at the table and part of those decision making. But ultimately, it's a PDGA event, and I can only go after them on that. I'm only upset about that because DGPT. I'm sure there's
PDGA rules. Am I?
Yeah, and I'm sure there's also like the DGPT has like I don't want to say like sign off, but they kind of have part of that approval process. You know what I mean? Like I hope they are.
Yeah,
they seem tight enough.
Say where they're.
Yeah, they seem tight enough, but like I don't know. It would be interesting if it's if it's all 4 days on a track that hasn't been tested. That would be even worse. If it's 2 days, they can at least get by. Yeah, if it's a 4 day, that course better be ready. Like there better not be aspects that can be picked apart on that whatsoever. If it's all 4 days of there.
The course is supposed to be reopened May 26th of this year. So that is when the new layout will be able to get played upon.
And I'm sure they'll have an event, but will they have an A tier? That's a good question. They certainly haven't had an A tier there yet.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I'm sure actually probably before then they will be able to get to play something.
Yeah, I'm
because
sure.
they have all 2026. Is that what? I don't know what the rules were. Do you remember what you needed to play? If it needed to be something on tour first, or if it was just
Yeah,
something.
I mean, they used to have that public, but that kind of went away
I'm
after
sure there's somewhere we can
that
find
got
it.
the world.
Hopefully, though, they get something. They get something that pros can play. I don't know anything, right?
Well, I guess in a way, if that's ready by May, they could have the championship there.
I guess they could do both. They might.
Yeah, that might be a possibility.
I feel like it's weird with their format, though.
Yeah.
Has that even been announced yet? Is it just rolling the same thing we've been doing?
The championship?
Yeah.
I don't know. They always change it like every year, right?
I know, that's why. It doesn't
it's like a
not
roll of the fucking dice on that thing. It's like that. It's literally like that dice game you play on the course, but it's like, where are we gonna go and what are we gonna do this time? All right, we're gonna have it here. The points are gonna be determined.
This is like the 5th Champions Cup and what the 3rd course it's at.
Yeah, this will be the 4th. The
Do you
major.
think this has gotten its prestige yet? Is
No.
it counted as a major for these people?
Not at all.
I guess so. It's such a weird
Like
thing
when
to
did
talk
European do that though? Like when was the transition? Was it all because of what like the battles that were happening there between Ricky and Paul that made it like a major, or was there because there were so few majors that it got like
I don't know
faster
why.
prestige? Because that like in the same 5 years of European Open and Champions Cup, I feel like the perception of Champions Cup or the perception of European Open was like farther ahead than where we are with Champions Cup now.
You thought European Open was?
Yeah, same 5 years. So European Open, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Champions Cup, 5 years. Prestige level in people's mind. What's more of a major? European is far ahead of what Champions is viewed in the first 5 years.
I would agree.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, Burton's always a weird debate, in my opinion, too, because I don't think it gets talked about nearly enough, or at least I'm not listening to things where people do. Is where, like, do we just count all of the majors beforehand, like the Scandinavian Open, the Japan Open, the Australian Open, the Kona like there's
I know
some
that
events
has
where
always bothered you, but yes,
I
unfortunately
feel like
they
there
do.
just needs, and I just because
You
I
need an asterisk, like
you don't even need asterisks. I just want to like just draw. I want to know where I'm drawing a line in the sand where it's like, all right, now we're gonna start just weighing these.
do we really count these?
Yeah,
you know what I
and
mean?
respectfully, it also creates confusion. Like there was a time period where
There
Paul
was, like,
McBeth
a
played
weird-
5 majors in a season.
Yeah, there was like the weird Japan Open one, right? Weren't they using like not
The
the right?
lightweight discs.
Yeah, they weren't even
Let's bring it back.
nice.
Let's have a world tour again. Let's bring that back. That would be sick.
What the like light discs or the
No,
World Tour?
no. fucking-
Like-
if they went like, we had like an Australian event, a Japan event, go into a couple of Scandinavian
oh man, do like a
countries.
F1 Cup like type thing. I
everybody
get what you're
did.
saying.
Ooh, that'd be sick.
That would be pretty sick.
Maybe that's like a thing we can do. We just like bring like a couple of guys. We're like, oh, we're gonna go travel like some countries, go ball out, we're gonna play some disc golf and dope courses.
Yeah, it'd be like the yeah, kind of like that skating show. Like you ever see that? Where no, never mind.
Nah,
Road, yeah, never mind.
could be something though.
That's a
Could be
good
something.
point. That's a good point. I'm
Go,
still, man,
yeah.
I'm still elevated about fucking.
I
I know,
man.
dude. I'm so
Yeah.
annoyed by that.
But I think they're gonna play a tournament there. I think it's gonna be chill.
I get it. I just whatever.
Not to the caliber maybe of the top elite.
It's not even
people.
finished. Like
May 26th, man. We got like a month. It's gonna come out. We're gonna see some foundation videos of them shredding it. They're gonna shoot 68, and we're gonna get a nice preview.
Yeah, the
Like,
manufacturer.
when you really think about it,
68.
it's gonna be the most previewed on camera course ever, like on tour. So like they'll have plenty of time to study.
Nah, maybe. And if it is at Champions Cup, I hope so. I'm sure it will work out. It just like
I was trying to figure out geography, like how does it? Because if they're in like the Midwest now, we're gonna be. I mean, I guess I don't know when they're gonna have it. That's still.
do you go straight up from? I guess you go MCO there.
So you're kind of going to the east, and then you're
Yeah,
flying all the way back
shoot.
to the West Coast. And then if you're talking about moving it any sooner, then you're moving it to the back half, and your back half of the season's like crazy, just hype of final tournaments.
Like you don't start off and go like Florida, Texas there. No. It's either like after MCO or you're going after Idlewild.
I do. There is the debate to after Idlewild. I don't hate that.
Or maybe you go before Idlewild.
You're going Ledgestone, Idlewild. You're going Ledgestone to Virginia, back to Idlewild.
Yeah, because you have to go back to Michigan.
Okay. I guess. Isn't that this from Ledgestone to Virginia is still over 10 hours?
Yeah.
I guess you're going to have a week break because you need a week in between.
Mm-hmm.
I guess. It's all going to figure it out. They're all going to go there. It's Champions Cup. I don't think anyone's sitting that one out. It's a major.
Yeah, it'd be kind of whack to like have it at the end of the year, though. And line up like playoff events, two majors. That would just be...
Because that also would be saying it's after whatever the European.
Because Worlds is that year is in. It actually kind of. Oh, is Worlds at 26?
Mm-hmm.
D-Glow?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that changes a lot too. So then you can have it.
No, because those would be like back to back almost.
Yeah, it'd be like major tournament, major.
You'd have to have a
good question.
Yeah, we'll figure that out when it's all announced.
Good question.
It's only speculation at this point. I want to go back though to kind of the Gothro event because we saw really the debut of a camera crew. It feels like I don't know if that's true or not, but checking out the new quote unquote best basket we've ever seen. I think Gannon said this. Germ was all over on the commentary. Luke was shedding some light on it. I've had the opportunity to hear Dave McCormick, the inventor of the basket, spiel on it twice. And if anyone's talked to Dave, you know I'm sitting there for at least 2 hours for that. But hey, all love to him. I got to hear all the intricacies. Ooh, that word was botched.
Yeah.
And all the stories along to it. But
where you like randomly veers and be like, let me tell you about this.
Yeah. But hey, usually it's a dope story or some disc golf knowledge that I would like to have.
Absolutely. So, I agree.
But we saw the reason that this basket is so liked, it seems because of pros, is the inside chains are heavier. And I'm going to you just need to watch yesterday's video because Dave will break it down. There's nobody that can talk about it better than he can. He explains everything, breaks it down. So go watch yesterday's video. But the gist is heavy chains on the inside. The top moves a little bit so you can even the light putts can catch it or something. I don't know. And the big one, no nubs. I've seen debate on the no nubs. Do you have an opinion?
I'm for no nubs.
No nubs.
I'm for no nubs. I've heard exceptional things about this basket. I've yet to play on it. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out in future testing, but I know that it performed very well in limited testing. Do I think that we get any closer for it to be on tour or have a standard basket on tour? Nope. But
you have to bring a whole set of them with you and replace them at all these courses.
Absolutely.
And I just feel like that's not going to happen. And these ones are heavy and they're expensive, but they're dope. And it's
I wonder if
to be at that course.
I wonder if the sleeve pull is any different, because if that's any different, then it's also a whole other bit of problem.
I feel like they're probably the same.
So you think that would be the same, right?
I think the cool thing that could be utilized, maybe not, but could be interesting. Top band is super fat. Advertising space.
Nice. Let's go all the way NASCAR and just have fucking Wonder Bread. And
we don't got no money, bro. And I feel like one of the things we're missing out the most on is opportunities to advertise. No one wants to buy the yard sign. I'm sorry. No one wants to buy a little thing next to the T-pad that no one reads, that everyone steps over, gets no attention. But if you can put something fat in these open air, they have statues and shit.
Yeah.
You can't tell me you can't just put a big old disc track thing that even fits.
Yeah, that would be kind of neat.
It feels like my biggest missed opportunity, or what they kind of did at chess.com when it was that last year, was the little wood things that were kind of chess piece. Imagine fat ones like those all over the place. And I'm talking about off the fairway. Now imagine you're selling stuff that could be used on the fairway. You fucking boost the price, get some up there, and you can even have a weird name so you're calling down in commentary. Anything to get money and people invested in what's going on.
It would be kind of cool to have somebody's pay enough to put their face on
anything,
band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm for it. Yeah. We're not, man, and especially when we're talking Eagles Crossing, I'd be above anything. Fucking go get it. Who cares? Even if it is the wild, wild west, you're still different enough to be yeah, we do that. tough.
Yeah, for real. And the course like it speaks for itself. I don't think it takes away anything from it being this grand. And then they even do it. They have statues of animals in like every hole and stuff. Like lean into that even more. I feel like call the hole the name of the animal. Like have it boosted up. Have someone in the fairway. Have more of them. I don't anything just to be like, what the hell is that? And like detract you for a little bit, and then you're thinking about it, and then you're talking about it, and then it could be turned into something even bigger.
Yeah, there's definitely like as far as the host game, and like that course opens up the like gamut of like being able to comment about anything and aspects like so. And man, to have that amount of space and that amount of like openness on something like where you can really like, it would be like you can get really interesting on like roping and like, you know what I mean? You can get like really funky on some of those holes too. And it played like, man, it really played tough. Like
the course record's 7 down.
That is in the territory of like getting a bunch of people excited. Is like those scores? Like didn't like Isaac like didn't he go like OB 15 times or something?
Yeah, like plus double digits up there.
So yeah, like that's supposedly what a lot of people want is like pros having a hard time on the course, and if you can deliver that aspect of it, I think you can get away with calling it the Masters, as long as it stays that way. Like, man, we saw like last year, Supreme Flight was like, touted as the most toughest, and then it got blown up this year. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I think
like,
it's just going to take a matter of time of getting the reps.
Precisely. That's what I think a lot
Someone
of people
will get a double digits there, and it'll go crazy. But that's what we want. I think that's a part of the cool thing of like courses being a part of things for a certain time, and then eventually we get used to it and whatever, and it's seen its time. I think that's okay.
Yeah. No, I think that's fine too.
I saw an interesting thing on Twitter, and I wanted to bring it up because like I said, thought it was a good conversation starter. I might sound like an idiot, though, for saying this, so I want to reiterate this I saw on Twitter. This is not my original question. Who do you think will get their 3rd win of the year first? Gannon Buhr or Nicholas Ansela?
Good question. I thought I saw this too.
Yeah, I was scrolling. I was like, I wanted to be like, oh, Nicholas. And I was like,
Man, I'll say Nicholas because they're gonna go back to Europe.
True.
Like Gannon doesn't look like the same Gannon, but he's still good enough to be where he's at and like be close every week. But
he's still number 1 in the standings.
Yeah,
right now.
like which is just wild. Like, but I think like a lot of people are watching. Like, this is not the same Gannon we saw on tour, and it's at some point he's gonna get warm up enough, and it's gonna be there. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, I can see them coming in bunches, but the fact that they're going to go to Europe shortly, I think helps Antela. I think he might be able to pull one.
I feel like it's dumb saying that it's not Antela because I feel like this is his moment where he's crested the hill of elite status.
Yeah,
I think that he's finally, like, honing into the skills, going it. What I said earlier today was, before this, I think Anselo was saying that he lacked in the distance category and can't compete in places like that, and then went out and won at Mill Ridge. He wanted a course where he would have said that he was coming in with a slight disadvantage, or just not coming into like the I'm going to win this week, and he just did that. And I think that now when he knows that he can compete on any type of course, any way, any situation, and he's proven it to himself, we're getting to see another level. I really do.
Yeah, we're talking like now his like 3rd or 4th time on these tracks. And now you're starting to see the results that you're seeing, right? Like, so it's not surprising. He's got great control, great off the tee, and he can putt. Like, those are the aspects you need. And if you do it well enough over 3 days, you're going to win events on tour. And he's going to stack. Whose performance thus far? Yeah, I guess it's Antela, right? Like, yeah. I was going to kind of like, because everybody was hyped up on that Ezra train real early. You know what I mean? With the new team, new this.
Sliding off a bit.
Yeah, he's kind of slipping down, but it's like, this is what always happens. There's always the hot guy, you know what I mean? And then like somebody cools off and then another one pops in. So like Antela's there, but yeah, man, he's special. Like that, like I said before, that signing, locking in Antela and Gannon, that was one hell of an offseason.
Discmania is giving a run for their money on Discraft right now.
Yeah, no, that's true. And we're talking like Gannon's about to break again. You know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, they can check
How long before Gannon gets his first win of the year? Then
Champions Cup.
gonna go win the major.
Yeah, I'll
He
give him
needs
the
that
4-day
one for the
event.
Grand
Yeah,
Slam, career Grand Slam.
yeah, 4-day event, Champions Cup. He might do it. Definitely on one of those West Coast though.
Yeah, I could see him winning like the Northwest Championship.
Yeah.
Those are the courses that he does well on. I
Yeah.
always like him in more rounds.
Yeah.
So anything where we were playing actual
Anyway,
disc golf,
yeah,
I like him
one
a
of the
lot.
West Coast stops, he's pulling out a dub. One of these, and I'm just saying champions because it's first, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I'll go with the Champions Cup, even though the Champions Cup's only at the Swenson, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. What if Goose pulls that out?
Yeah, I was
finally?
literally just thinking that. Like,
Like,
imagine
what
he
if-
pulls out that. For all the people that have been
Oh,
talking
dude,
ish in his comments, he's going to be like, this
everybody.
course sucks, this course sucks.
Yeah, but man, that would also like inflate Goose's like persona that much more.
I wouldn't hate it. It would be different.
I like Goose as a commentator. I think like he's over hyped as a disc golfer. That's what I will say in the community wise.
People love Goose.
Yeah, people love.
I think it started to turn a little bit from the people that just didn't like the complaining.
Yeah,
But it's also he's just
everybody
giving
just
fair
views
criticism.
everything as it's not it's
When is
criticism.
you watch like
This is like man, I'm gonna get like all hands. This is their job. They see this every day for 8+ hours, damn near every day. These people experience the tour courses across this globe. Why do you not think they should not have an opinion on like the courses, or because you disagree with it, you're right and they're wrong?
Yeah, and I always
When
see
you've
it
never
too.
been there, like you've only seen it on coverage, but you're gonna be like, nope, that tree should be there.
No, you're
Like,
right.
come on.
And it's always like a very small portion of the video where it's complaining. It's on a whole here or there, but even because I'm the one that clipping all the stuff I talk about. And I hate to say it, but most time it's negative because that's just what the critique is. And usually it's about what the change is. And there's still 45 minutes of the video plus that are just positive, talking about just straight disc golf. And I think people just hear the negative now, and it is just so like, I don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
I don't wanna be
people
told-
are like,
I don't wanna be told that.
people want the sunshine and rainbows aspect of like, I mean, like I certainly don't want that. I want to know like, hey,
What do you think?
What-
it'll
yeah, what's
improve?
great about this? What could be fixed? What needs to be done? Like, where does this rank? Where does that? Because like everybody, like man, these are the people that we should be listening to as far as like expectations, what's good, what's bad, what should be there, right? They're the ones performing on this track, and like everyone thinks. And that's the other thing is like everybody has their own opinion about it. That's the other bad. If you
Everyone
don't
has
like
their
what Goose
preferences
is
and
saying,
stuff.
go to the next one, and somebody
Mhm.
will say what you want to hear. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
I was like, you
But
watch
like,
any Ricky's videos, he's never complaining because he's the type that's just gonna go and throw frisbees. That's the kind
yeah,
of
Ricky's, Ricky's just chucking, man. Like, but like that's like I think like Paul. I think you could. This is the other bit of it also. I think you could take. If you scripted Goose's dialogue and put Paul and had Paul read it verbatim, not a soul would
No one's
say,
complaining.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
And then like it's because it's Goose, it's because he's delivered, it's because of this, and like it's little things like that. It just doesn't make sense. But like I love his coverage. I love his comments. I think he could be a future commentator in this sport. I think he's great. I just think he's a little overhyped as far as performance goes.
Well, there was a time where he was just crazy off the tee. It was just the putt,
Dude,
man, the putt, and it still needs to figure
And like
itself out. a bit.
understandable. Like when you shock the world and you're going into a playoff with the greatest of all time, you're gonna be remembered, right? Like it's gonna be like,
I forgot.
he
Holy
almost
cow,
had it.
I actually forgot like that. I was always thinking the OTB where he
Oh,
choked in the putts and the spit
oh
out.
yeah, no,
I forgot that he was with Paul that year. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the island miss from
Mhm.
pushing it to 18, where he probably had a better chance than Paul if he got to
Oh,
18.
that was Paul from '69, dude.
That was
I
Paul
should.
from
How can I
69.
forget that?
Paul from 69, right behind me. I was posted on 17, waiting for that shot, and man,
was
you want to talk about like goosebumps? That was
That was a moment to be there.
cheers,
Like,
yeah.
unfortunately, Goose, but I'm kind of glad you lost that because that was That was the thing to be there at. You know? Come back.
Yeah, true.
And that's everything disc golf from this weekend. We have the Kansas City Wide Open coming this weekend. We're just going to be looking out for a preview video and gambling possible segment.
Maybe we'll post our bets or something.
Yeah, we're going to do something along those lines.
Are those up yet?
No, that's what we're going to be wondering. We're going to still keeping our eyes on that. Hopefully there's something posted. Maybe we can make some content about
I got to
that.
get on the other one. I'm on DraftKings.
You got to get Underdog.
Underdog's the bet one.
Underdog's the better one.
DraftKings is the only one you can bet on the winner, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of whack.
Yeah, it's not that fun. So, yeah, we're keeping our eyes on that. See you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.